Hello and welcome to my Gruul tactical guide. You'll need 2 tanks and around 6 healers. Gruul has 5 abilities, the first of which is Growth. He does this on a regular timer, and it is more or less the enrage timer. The more growths he has stacked upon him, the more damage his abilities do. It is normal to go to growth 13 or 14. Much more and your tanks risk being 1 or 2 shot. His second ability is Hateful Strike. He will target a melee class with the second most threat. You'll want this to be a tank. This is where your second tank, your off tank, comes in handy. The more the health he has, the better. This is best suited for druid tanks. His third ability is Cave In. On a random player, he will cast Cave In. It will make the ground be covered in rocks. It does a ticking damage, and you need to get out of it as quickly as you can. The more the growths, the more damage this does. His fourth ability is Silence. He does this on a regular timer, and it will silence you for 2 seconds. Make sure to have HOTS on the tank before this happens. His fifth ability is Ground Slam. He also does this on a regular timer. He will cast it, and everyone, as shown here, will get thrown around. You'll have about 5 seconds to move around and get away from other players. If you're next to other players, like this paladin is, you will die. After the ground slam, he does an ability called Shatter. And Shatter makes it so any targets near you take damage. So the more players you're by, the more damage you take. Druids can reduce this by going and using Bark Skin. It does around 2,000 to 3,000 damage for each player that's near you. So if you're surrounded by 4 or 5 players, you will most likely die. That's why it's best to be spread out and use the entire room. Pally Bubble, Ice Block, and Rogue Cloak of Shadows do not prevent the damage you take. However, they do give you the ability to run around freely until the moment he casts the Shatter. That's it for his abilities. It's a fairly easy tank and spank fight. Ranged DPS needs to stay below the first tank and make sure not to come within melee range, and melee needs to stay below the second tank. Healers, just keep up your HOTS during silence, and make sure to get the tanks back to full health right after he does a ground slam. Once Gruul hits about 30% health, every healer should be on the main tank and off tank. This is when they will take the most damage. And if your tank dies, it's a wipe. That's it for Gruul. Pretty simple. Just don't stand near other players, and it's an easy fight. Good luck, and have fun on Gruul.